I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Oh my gosh, because it's been like 2 weeks since we done it.
2 weeks? Well, this is episode 9, though.
Episode 9.
Yeah, almost to the 10th episode. We got to do something special for the 10th.
All right. Yeah, maybe do it. what we've been meaning to do, have a guest, do it at the shop, something.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I am A-Flex, and this is
DJ Q.
This is the Backspin Podcast, where we get together every week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, talk DJ shit.
Yeah, some industry stuff, some music stuff, some everything stuff.
Life stuff.
Industry stuff. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, just navigating this world of DJing, trying to have some like work-life balance, trying to, just maybe share some wisdom that we've picked up. I think both of us have DJed over 20 years. Mm-hmm. So, there's some newer DJs, maybe even some veteran DJs that might pick up little bits and pieces of what we say. And, we're really, after, going back and listening to some of the podcasts, like, I think we just really want to encourage people to be the best that they can be, the best DJs they can be. And, if that overflows into the rest of their life, then fantastic.
Right. Yeah. Just push you forward. Yeah. That's the name of the game, man. If you're feeling stagnant, listen to the podcast.
Yeah. We'll try to motivate you a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sundays at Tin Roof, we do a little rhythm and brunch, and then I kind of do the rest of the day where it's a little bit more open format.
Yeah.
And Deception keeps bringing in killers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
2 weeks ago, Stan the Man.
Stan the Man.
Comes in.
Stan's a monster, dog.
Stan is a damn monster. But, I have a podcast, so it's kind of cool. Even though we at some point will have him on as a guest, I was picking his brain a little bit about how he prepares his sets. Mm-hmm. Because if you've never seen Stan the Man DJ, like the whole set, all of it, let's just say 90% of it is him playing acapellas over instrumentals.
Yeah. He was doing stems before stems was stems.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It's bananas. And I was just like, damn, what do you do? How do you do that? Well, how many ideas do you have prepared? And
I mean, you just got to spend some time with your music. I think that's the key. And then, figuring out what you want to do. 'Cause I think that's part of it too. Like, okay, what acapella do I want to play with what instrumental? I think that has to go into it as well. And then finding those acapellas and instrumentals,
Well, that led into other discussions about how much preparation do you do for your set? Like, are you 100%? Is everything planned out? And him and Deception had very similar answers, which were you just have so many plans over the years. You just kind of have so many different things that you can do, and then when you play like that, it becomes easier to go, okay, well, this is going to work with this. And
right.
So there's the combination of preparation and experience and, trying new things on the fly. Mm-hmm. And Deception basically said the same thing. But I was super impressed with his set. You don't see a lot of DJs DJing like that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think the experience is big, right? Like, so if you've DJed as much as, a Stan, a Deception, or, people like that DJ weekly for 20 plus years, right? Like, you've done so many little mini routines and seen so many things and then watched other DJs, right? Like, you pay attention to what, just other DJs are doing. You may see something, you'd be like, oh, that was dope, but I think that I could add this to it or that to it. Or you just get all these little ideas, and some people maybe either write them down or they just kind of throw them in the back of their mind. But I think that's the experience is huge, like DJing as much as those guys have DJed. Like, yeah, I mean, and then putting in the preparation piece to be like, okay, I thought about this one thing I want to do. Okay, let me go download or find that acapella and find this instrumental and put them together. Like, because sometimes what happens is you get an idea in your head and then you put it out or you do it and it's like, oh, that ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I think that. So I'm somebody that's fallen into probably some bad habits over the years where like I don't practice how I DJ at the club at home. I just
Yeah.
scratch, I search for music, but I don't really see what mixes together and come up with ideas and sets and stuff like that. I think a really good way to do that is record your mixes, like when you're practicing, so you can go back and listen and see, you know. So I think that's one thing to do. But like I said, bad habits of just I'm gonna focus on, you know, yeah,
I think it's incorporating like you said. I've done exactly what you're talking about. Like where, all right, I'm gonna practice, but I'm just gonna practice like cutting like the ah sound, right? And that's not reality for DJing out.
right
You know what I'm saying? Like we're not just sitting there scratching the ah sound for
over acapellas.
over acapella or over instrumentals for like 5 minutes.
You got to find the part in the song.
Right, finding the part in the song that's dope. But I've definitely fallen into that trap too, where like I remember I was in like a mode where I was practicing battle style stuff, and then when I would DJ, it was very vanilla. Like I wasn't scratching, I wasn't doing anything, wasn't doing any of that. But then I kind of like found myself to be like, okay, I need to get back to this because I can do all these things that I'm not doing when I'm DJing out. And then I wasn't practicing that way, like you said. I wasn't doing it either. But I think that focusing on practicing as if you're DJing out, but adding in all of the elements, your scratching, your back-to-backs, or your juggles and things like that. Practice like that, it definitely goes a long way for sure.
Yeah, so something I was thinking about as far as like organization. I think is that my neighbors?
Yeah, your neighbors are
My
outside.
neighbors. Oh snap. Okay, so but organizing your music, you might have a hip hop crate, an R&B crate, or house music crate or something. But what if your crates were literally like sets? Say like every other day or every day or whatever you have time for, you put together a mix. Say it's an hour long or 2 hours long, and then that's your list of crates. Is you have all of these different sets prepared for any situation. And then you can also have like a hip hop crate and whatever, but knowing that, say, something that happened to me in the past is, and it actually happened this last Sunday, is, everybody's kind of doing their own thing and chilling. And sometimes I just creep up on them to where I'm playing, maybe say like Drake Best I Ever Had or something like that, where it's like people are kind of singing along and they're just moving in their seats.
Right.
But then I've got a couple of tricks up my sleeve that I know that I'm going to do that once they hit, it's going to pop off. I know, say, what's the Sexy Red Drake record or whatever?
Oh, Rich Baby Daddy.
Rich Baby Daddy or something like that, right? Where it's like, okay, and I know I'm kind of saving that, building up to it or whatever.
Right.
And, so there's like this moment, there's this thing that happens. I'm sorry, I got a point here. Just bear with me for a second. There's this thing that happens where all of a sudden, when everybody starts dancing, gets up, and I've like got the crowd in the palm of my hand, that's when everybody wants to come up and talk to me. That's when everybody wants to come stand on stage, is when I'm right in the middle of the peak of the performance. And I want to be cool because, I mean, it is just a Sunday afternoon after all. But at the same time, like, the more that I talk and the more whatever, like, I was in the zone, and that's how I got it to that point. But now that I have distractions, there's people, my boys all want to come up and be like, oh, man, what you been up to? I'm like, dude, this. Like, let me at least get this, 30 minutes or an hour of peak time rocking it, and we'll talk later. But I need to do a better job of having some boundaries and be like, hey, hold on. Let me get back to you in a minute as I'm, So the way that I'm connecting that with all this is, if I had some stuff prepared, I wouldn't have to tell those people to go away. I kind of like I can talk to them and hit one of those playlists that I know is going to work and keep it going and flowing without having to, what am I going to play next? Like, I can just click and go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's weird because people have this, like, I don't almost like alert, like, oh, the DJ's about to throw down. Let me go talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
or like I find it when I'm like, okay, I mean, I'm gonna do like a little routine, like I'm gonna do some back to backs or I'm gonna do some cuts for a second. Here comes somebody tapping on my shoulder, and I'm like, damn, like I was just about to do this or do that. And here comes somebody. So it's weird, like nothing could be going on before that, and then all of a sudden. It's like they can read my mind, like, oh, the DJ is about to throw down. I mean, let me go interrupt them. You know,
But I don't think they want to interrupt. I think that like you're up there shining, and they're
Well,
like,
yeah,
oh, I want to
yeah.
get some shine off of his shine.
I don't think they do it on purpose, but it's just weird that it happens like this a lot.
Yeah.
At least in my experience, like I feel like as soon as I'm getting ready to do something, here comes somebody. I could be standing there doing nothing. You know, and then all right, I get to it, and I haven't even really done anything yet. I'm like, all right, next song, I'm gonna play this record, and I know I can do a little something with it, right? And then all of a sudden, here comes somebody. I'm like, oh. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if you've had that happen.
Well, but even if you're the kind of guy that normally doesn't like to prepare sets, having sets prepared is not only is do you have a plan. But it's going to get you out of
Oh yeah, if you
weird
got
situations.
like a bangers crate or something like that, where people come up and talk to you, interrupt you, and then all of a sudden you got like 7 seconds left in the record.
Yeah, it's like you can cold drop anything in
Right.
that crate and it's going to work.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So instead of like going searching, you just like boom, boom, boom. But the thing what you got to stay away from is playing out of that crate though, because then what if you already played that record?
That day?
Yeah. Like so.
Well,
if
you don't reset your tracks each time you play.
Do I reset? Like turn them, like make them all not blue anymore?
Yeah,
No, I
from
don't
blue
do
to
that.
oh
No, I
man,
don't do
dude,
that.
I know other people that. Why do you not do that?
I don't know.
Why it's there so that to make your life less difficult and you're
But
gonna
I kind of know like what I played and what I haven't.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, and there's something to be said for that too, because
Yeah.
there's some DJs that they don't BPM their records or they don't.
That's crazy to me.
Stan's like that. He might BPM his records, but he doesn't sync. He doesn't have the grid. He doesn't like he has no. He uses as little of the technology as he can, except for I saw him playing on a Rev 7, so I don't know.
I think he uses stems and stuff now. But
Maybe.
what's fun? Like, okay, so let's rewind like 20 years ago when you had vinyl in your crates. How did you organize them?
20 years ago?
Yeah, whenever we were playing before Serato, when we were playing on records, and you had to organize your actual vinyl records in a crate. How did you organize? Did you BPM them? Did you do alphabetical order?
So I didn't actually BPM.
That's crazy.
At that point in time, I still just kind of knew, which Charlie made me do. He like challenged me. He was like, "Man, don't do that. Just know the records, because the BPM will make you."
So you didn't have like the
Lazy.
little metronome? The little metronome when you got a record, you play it and match to the beat and write it
No,
on?
I wanted to do that, and Charlie stopped me.
Oh, I did that 1000%.
Yeah. Snow did that. Like, I was so jealous when I would see people's crates and everything was BPM.
Yeah.
So what I would do at that time, I was playing. I was playing so much at that time. I was playing like 5 nights a week. I just kind of knew. In my brain, I was like, okay, this will go with this. This is somewhere in the mid 80s. This is somewhere in the mid 70s.
So you had to ride the pitch control all night.
Oh yeah, I was all over the place.
Oh man, I saw people do that back in the day, and I was like, "What are you guys doing?" It would or I hear people talking about how they had their BPM or they had their records organized in their crates alphabetically, and I'm like, what in the world? Now, and then when I do hear about this, a lot of times it's New York DJs, and New York DJs don't really mix like we do, so they slam a lot. So I kind of get that, but if you're mixing, oh man,
Alphabetical, taking your crates out in alphabetical just seems so. So I would have I would have different vibes in different crates. Like one crate would be more crunk, which
Yeah,
of course
yeah,
those records are
100%.
more the same tempo, and
Right.
one would be more like backpack rapper stuff. One
Yeah.
would be more pop stuff.
Yeah.
And I would just and I'd have like a small crate that had odds and ends like reggae and
Yeah.
whatever that was kind of over there, and then I would just
See, I did that, but then each crate was BPM'd fast and slow. So yeah, if I had like R&B crate, like all those records were all R&B records, and then the fast ones were at the top, and it went just down, just like you would in Serato now. But it's just wild to me when I hear that, or when I hear people like, "Oh, I don't BPM my records." Like, what are you talking about?
so I mean that's a good say you're gonna sit down and make a master plan for how to prepare your sets.
Yeah.
What would you do? How much time would you spend each week? Let's just say you've got
How long is the set?
4-hour set.
Oh wow, that's tough, man. Because how we DJ, because we play a lot of the same stuff, week to week, but then at the same time you don't. And then different DJs DJ different things. Like for me, like this weekend, I'll play Friday night at 360 downtown, so that's a vibe. Then I got the Armory on Saturday. That's a different vibe. I got a private birthday party on Sunday. That's a different vibe. But all three of those vibes are different, but they're similar. So I don't know.
So will you do you build a crate for that?
No, I won't.
You
And
just
that's what
have
I'm saying.
everything tagged up? Like how do you
So one thing that I do with my music is I'm pretty meticulous on BPMing my music, and then tagging the song, the artist, BPM, and then the key. I kind of have this and then a genre. I have a really simple method that I've used for years, and I don't overdo it. I don't put any comments in. I don't put the albums in. The years, none of that. I think I had like 4 columns, which is the song name, the artist, the BPM, the genre, the key, and then the length of the song. And then that's it. Because the reason why I do that is when I search, it narrows things down quicker. It's one thing that I've been finding with using Beat Source that I have a problem with is when I search, like if I search through my library, I can search like the first probably like 4 to 5 letters of something, and I'll find what I need. With Beat Source, I gotta type the whole thing out because you'll get so much stuff.
Yeah, there's 300 versions of the new Cardi B song.
Exactly. So with me, like with my stuff, a long time ago, I was like, man, I'm just gonna keep this really, really simple. So when I go to that search bar, if I need to search, boom, or I like to have everything BPM, and then I can just go to a BPM. Say I want to play.
I've seen you do that.
Yeah, 50.
You just go to like 82 beats per minute, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you doing
and
that?
the one thing that I do that I don't, and everybody's got their own way, is in Serato, I use the browser. People don't use the browser. And that, to me, I'm like, why don't you use the browser? Because the browser lets you basically filter, right? Like you just said, I want to play Lil Jon Snap Your Fingers. I'm going to go to 82, and then I'm going to write snap, right? Boom, there it is. Lil Jon Snap Your Fingers is going to pop up.
Hold on, but you got to go to, why would you not just already put in snap? Why do you got to go to 82, then snap?
Because if I just write in snap, I might get snap by power. I might get snap by, I don't know, there might be another snap, right? But I know that Lil Jon Snap Your Fingers is 82 beats per minute. And if I click that 82 in the browser and then write snap, boom, I'm going to get Lil Jon Snap Your Fingers. I'm not going to get snap power, which is like 110 BPM or something like that. I'm not going to get all that. Or same thing with like 50 Cent in the club, right? Go to 90 or 91, right? Club. Or I might write 50. and it's
Yeah.
boom, there it is.
Well, and it's just that really highlights every DJ kind of has their own way of doing things. We did kind of get away from the question that I asked, and I just wanted to come back to it for a second, which is, you know, if you were to, a new DJ, say he's only been DJing for 6 months, he's like, how much should I practice? How much should I prepare for my sets? What does that look like in a laboratory? Is it an hour 3 times a week? Do you put together, each hour? Do you just, if it's a 4-hour set, do you prepare 1 hour, 2 hour, which is going to be kind of peak time, and freestyle the other 2 hours? Do you, what would you say? What would you recommend to somebody is the best way? If somebody's looking for an answer, like, I just need somebody to tell me what to do. How much should I practice? What should that look like? How much time should I spend mixing versus scratching? All of that.
So I think there's layers to it, right? Like, so first, now we have an overabundance of music. So like back in the day, if you were just starting out, you might only had like 5 records to practice with. Now, you could start out with thousands.
Yeah, day one.
So day one, you could have thousands of records. So one thing I would do is, especially if you're practicing for the purpose to play out, you got to practice all of the stuff, right? So you got to practice like, okay, what's my method of finding music in Serato? Like when I'm playing, how am I going to find 50 Cent in the club? So then that goes into like what I was saying, like, or how are you going to organize your music? How are you going to use the software? Are you going to use a browser? You're not going to use a browser. You're going to make crates. You're not going to make crates. Because for me, again, I wasn't a big crate maker because I thought that I was very organized with how I organize my music. So then, then there's that piece. And then there's, okay, what kind of gig am I doing? Am I doing like a open format gig where I'm playing all kinds of genres? Am I gonna scratch? Am I not gonna scratch? Am I a house guy? So I think that those kind of come into play when that question is asked. If someone would ask me, that's what I would ask back.
I feel like you're beating around the bush here. You giving it some thought, like in general.
In general, again, I would have to like break those down. Like just say that you were open format DJ. Say somebody was, here, let's put it like this. Somebody's coming to DJ with you at Tin Roof on Sunday, and they ask me, hey, I'm going to DJ with A-Flex. What should I do? Then I would, then that kind of goes into, do you understand what goes on there? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of layers to it, I think.
Right, but I'm just saying you're playing by yourself. You got a 4-hour set. You're playing 9 to 1 or 10 to 2 or whatever it might be. Yeah. You don't have to worry about cutting the throat of the guy that's coming on after you or anything like that. Just no stipulations of just, okay, I've got a gig Saturday night.
Yeah.
That I do it every Saturday night, but I want to do something different each and every Saturday, so it's not too repetitive and whatever. Yeah. Like, what does that look like? What does your week look like? Do you do 3 times a week? Do you do it all in one session where it's like, okay, Saturday during the day I'm going to spend 4 hours of an hour looking for new music, an hour scratching, and 2 hours of putting together the power hour mix?
I would break that up through the week. I would like find some new music, implement that into the software, practice with those records, get like the nuances of those records. Like say you're throwing in some Afro beats in your set or whatever that might have.
How much time are you spending looking for new music?
Maybe an hour.
Hour a week looking for new music?
Yeah, well, a week. Maybe a couple hours. How I used to break it down, Mondays used to be my dig day, my digital dig day.
We're getting there.
Mondays used to be.
Monday's dig day. All right,
Monday
cool.
was dig day.
Put that down, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Monday is the day that you dig for new records.
Yeah, that's what I used to do on Mondays, because back then when I wasn't working other jobs, I didn't have anything to do on Mondays. So then that's when I would like jump online and jump on the record pools and download. Then I'd organize. I'd download maybe like a couple hundred records. I wouldn't download too much at one time because then you got too much shit. And I maybe get like 100, 150 songs,
A week?
Yeah, something like that. Well, that's total, right? Like not 150 like separate records, probably 150 downloads, because then you download like different versions, acapellas, and or instrumentals.
That's a
before.
lot.
But that's before we had stems. So now we had stems, you don't really need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like now, really, you just need a clean and a dirty, and you're good.
Okay.
Now that you got stems, if you're using stems, hopefully you are. But so probably cut that in half. Let's say 75. You know what I'm saying? 75 records or whatever. Throw those in the Serato. Practice with those records, because then, like, you don't know what's in them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Something might pop out. Because a lot of times when I would download, you might listen to the record for like a couple seconds. Or it may be something you heard about. Somebody might have told you, homeboy, was like, hey, man, you need to get the Tommy Richmond joint. And if your homie tells you that's the joint you need to get, you just go get it. You ain't even heard it yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you hear it and you're like, oh, okay, cool. So
how much time are you spending with those records? Like, let's set realistic expectations. 150 new records. Some of those are like clean, dirty a cappella, right?
Yeah.
So let's reduce that down to probably something.
Let's say 75.
Let's say 75. I was going to say 50, but 50 to 75.
Oh, yeah, 50 to 75, yeah.
And that means you got to delete some records, too, that you're not using.
But
how much time are we spending with those records to make sure that they're, in your mind, like...
So what I would do, too, is I would go through those 50 records. Okay, what am I going to play out of these 50 or 75? What am I going to play on Saturday, right?
Yeah. And mark them up.
Mark them up. Put them in your Saturday crate, or put them in your brain, whatever. And then, start practicing with them. Like, go through the mixes. As far as, like, time, if you got unlimited time, like how we used to do, back in the day before we had day jobs and we just DJ'd at night, I mean, I might practice 6-7 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might be just going ham all day because I had nothing else to do.
But would you recommend that to newer DJs? Say somebody's been DJing for a year.
If you have the time, spend as much time as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. If you have the time, spend as much time as you possibly can on practicing, because it's just going to make you better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practicing, but what... And I agree with you. Spending as much time as you can is, that absolutely. Why would you not do that? If you love it, you don't even feel like you're working at something. Like, sometimes I just can't shut it off. I would work on music and DJ stuff and production or whatever until 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I can't do that because my life isn't structured that way.
Right.
But that's how you know something's your passion. If you're like really struggling to put in an hour of practice or digging for music a day or whatever, like if that's really tough for you, you're like, gosh, man, I just hate doing this.
Yeah,
this
ain't
is
for you.
Probably not for you. That's like the guy that does martial arts that doesn't ever want to show up to practice. It's like, dude, this is not going to go well for you.
I guess, it's funny. Like, I guess this is why this is so hard for me to answer this question directly, because when I had that unlimited amount of time back in the day, not even really back in the day, just before I had like, other things going on, like I would literally get up, like, I DJ at night. I was DJing probably like 5-6 nights a week, just at night. During the day, I would get up in the morning, probably eat breakfast, and I was tiddling around with something.
Yeah.
Whether it was production, whether it was downloading new music, whether it was scratching, whether it was beat juggling, just coming up with different mixes, just like coming up with ideas, just playing with, just organizing music. Like there's all these layers of things to do. And that was my day. Like, and it wasn't, and maybe if I were to go back, maybe I would have structured the day a little bit better. Like to be like, okay, for an hour at a time, I'm going to do this. And then for this hour to this hour, I'm going to do this. I didn't really do that. It was just like, I got from whenever I wake up till whenever I got to go DJ to do whatever it is I need to do. I'm going to eat. I'm going to go work out at some point. I'm going to, if I got a chick going on at that point in time in my life, I'm going to hang out with her at some point. But all this other free time during the day, that's what I'm doing. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, it was learning Ableton at one point in time. It was, all right, I'm going to make a beat every day. Yeah. Or like, I'll enter DMC. All right, I'm beat juggling and scratching every day, putting together a routine.
Yeah.
Or
And ultimately that's
yeah,
what I'm trying to get to, trying to come up with is if they're if somebody's out there, they don't have unlimited time.
mm-hmm.
We've learned from our own mistakes. We've found out, yeah, what works, what doesn't work. But if you're going to tell somebody else, is it an hour a day? Is it 2 hours a day? Of course, it's whatever you can. But I think there also needs to be kind of like a minimum that we're saying, all right, man, you probably should spend at least 3 hours a week just working on, mixing, 2 hours a week looking for new music, such and such time recording mixes, such and such
Mm-hmm.
time scratching, such and such time working on your social media,
Yeah,
where there's kind of a blueprint that you can follow. Because I'm actually trying to kind of go somewhere with this,
yeah,
and I'll just spill the beans because I don't want to. Everybody's going, why do we spend so much time talking about this? Well, um, so this past week, I can't think of everybody involved, but Nick Spinelli
yeah,
and ADMC or Adam
yeah,
C
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever,
Dangerous DJ guys.
the Dangerous DJs thing,
Yeah, Nick
right? Which
Spinelli, Ragosa,
Ragosa,
Adam,
yeah.
ADMC. I think they're the three main guys.
So they've put I mean, it's like a college course of
Yeah.
how to be a dangerous
Mm-hmm.
DJ, which I think is dope. I think it's a really dope concept where, hey, if you got some money burning a hole in your pocket and you want to pay people to teach you, here's like a concentrated lesson plan for you where you can, it's telling you what to do each day and how to, and I haven't looked at it. I don't know all the details.
Yeah.
And it very well could be worth it. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
downplay it at all, but could you do that on your own without paying money? Like
I think so. Yeah.
you could create your own plan for improvement, incremental improvement over a long period of time. Just you got to sit down with the pen and paper. You got first of all, you got to have some discipline in your life. If you don't have discipline, it's
Yeah.
not going to work out for you.
Right.
That piece of paper is just going to get crumbled up and thrown in the trash can. But having a plan of like, this is what I'm going to do every week, and then marking your progress.
Yeah.
So in addition to that, I have this idea rolling around in my mind. And a couple days ago, what was I listening to? Atomic Habits, the audiobook or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something. I don't remember what it was. It could have been a YouTube video. And it was, it was talking about small incremental change over a long period of time. Like if you get 1% better a week over the course of a year, you're going to be significantly better.
Yeah.
But you have to put in the time with the intention of I'm going to get better. And I'm trying to think of something that we can do that's going to be free, that's going to be for, currently this tiny little audience that we have, where we propose an idea and say it's something like, okay, each week, or let's just say each day, let's do a challenge where it's a 30-day challenge where I'm going to scratch every single day.
Yeah.
And how I don't know, I could just, for example, my Instagram could be used, the messages of my Instagram or starting a group chat on Instagram, where each day you just post, it could be a 1-minute clip of you scratching in this group chat to say, okay, I put in my 30 minutes today
Yeah.
of scratching.
Yeah.
And it's a collective thing where everybody's rooting each other on. It's positive. Maybe we could talk a little shit or whatever, but everybody that wants to be involved, and it could be just one person. It could be me and, Joe Blow from wherever. And we go, okay, look, we're going to do it. Every single day, post that 30-second, 1-minute long video as your way of confirming, like, look, dude, I did it today.
Yeah. And I think that, like, even to make it realistic, like, it definitely can be done. Like, start the group chat or the Facebook page and invite people to it. And then, I don't know about every day. Every day's hard. To be able to
for a
post
challenge.
something. Yeah. You know, because
Maybe
it's
not,
just,
maybe not post something, but just put a video of you in the group chat. It's
or
not
like
going to be
once a
a finished product that
maybe
becomes
like
a reel.
once or twice a week. Right, like you said, like it could just be just pop up the phone, take the video. It doesn't need to be like a curated reel or anything like that. And just do some cuts. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. Like
just
I think that
a
like
break and a or fresh,
mm-hmm.
and just each day it's like you check in and go, look, I practiced today.
I think one thing to add on to all of this whole conversation is like practicing the things that you're not good at.
Yeah,
I think that like that's the key, right? Like what do you want to get better at that you're not good at? Those are the things that you got to practice. I think that a lot of people fall in the trap of practicing the things that they already know how to do. And what I would do if you're gonna like segment out your practice, like very small percentage of practicing the thing that you're good at, very big percentage of practicing the things that you're not good at that you want to be better at. I think that's the key to all of this. And like you talk about making like a group chat or something like that, and maybe it's just not scratching. Maybe it's somebody wanting to get better at back-to-backs. Somebody wants to get better at doing a juggle or a specific type of scratch. Or like what you said, like instead of just scratching all the fresh, like come up with a routine and you scratching like through a mix. Like you're doing a mix and you're scratching out of a mix, or you're scratching into a mix or something like that, so it can spice up, your DJ set as a whole.
mm-hmm.
Because like we said, like a lot of that scratching that and that fresh ain't gonna really happen on Saturday night, but scratching out of, or scratching into Look at Me Now by Chris Brown, that boop, 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 scratching into that will be more realistic to like what you're doing.
Right.
So, coming up with that kind of stuff, and then maybe saying, okay, for 30 days, like you said, I'm not going to scratch the on fresh. I'm going to scratch something that's in a song that I DJ regularly, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I scratch out of Back That Ass Up? Or how can I scratch into, I don't know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? 50 Cent in the club.
I like the social contract part of it. For me, I like that. If I tell somebody or I make an agreement with somebody that every day I'm going to do push-ups. Me and Boogie B did this. Every day I'm going to do 100 push-ups or whatever it is. And you got to text me and tell me that you did them. Yeah. And I got to text him. And so I'm waiting for that text from him. He's waiting for that text from me. And if you, hey, man, where you at with it? For some people, they get fussy about that. They are like, I don't need somebody to tell me what to do or whatever. Like, look, man, it's not that. Nobody's telling you what to do.
Right.
This is for the people that, want to be a part of a community, that want that the social contract thing is going to work for them, or, you've made this agreement. That's the little push. But it's real easy to sit on the couch and start watching TV or whatever. But if you know that the guys in the group chat, you've seen 2 or 3 of those pop up already. It's like, damn.
Oh yeah, I gotta
Q
get to
put
it.
his in, A-Flex put his in, Boogie B put his in.
Yeah.
I'm the only guy that didn't put in the 30-second video or whatever today. Like, I'm the odd man out. And sometimes that's all it takes for people to go, okay, well, I'm going to do the thing. That it serves as a reminder, keeps you motivated. I think there's something there. So I'm just going to say it now. Whoever's listening to this, if you're interested in doing something like that, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram.
Just do it, man. Let's start. Let's just start it. Let's just start it between me and you, and people will invite people to do it.
I'm sure the Boogie Bees, probably Deceptions, maybe even Stan, like all the people that we talk about on this, a good bit of them would probably be down to do it.
Invite everybody, I mean, we already have, within St. Louis, the S4S chat or group on Facebook, that you could be a part of that. It could be something completely new. I mean, I just encourage DJs not to like shy away from this stuff. I think that like guys and girls, they shy away from this stuff when they see the veteran guys put in things. Like they'll see a Deception do a scratch routine. They're like, oh man, I can't do that, so I'm just not going to do anything at all. Like, my biggest advice is, like, don't go that direction. At one point in time, and Deception will tell you this himself, he saw somebody else scratching, and he was like, yo, that's crazy. I can't do that.
He still does.
You know,
He still will see people
Right.
and go, holy crap.
Exactly.
Like,
So-
yeah, comparison is the thief of joy. Don't
Exactly.
compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to who you were and how good you were yesterday. Like, this is a safe space.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey man, come as you are. Like, whatever skill level you're at, we're all going to get better
Yeah,
together.
you're gonna level up, and it's gonna take time. That's the other part too. Like, don't think that like your first video is gonna be dope, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that,
I mentioned 30 days.
Yeah.
But what about 60 days? What about 90 days? You know, but like, you got to set the goal small.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, okay, let's see how doing it every day for a week goes. But if you do that, if you do something every day for a week, it's going to be easier for you to do it for a month, and
Yeah,
then
100%.
6 months and a year. And it becomes it becomes a habit. And that's how you get to that point, is putting in that work over a long period of time. Because in a week, you're not really going to see,
Yeah.
you'll be a little bit
Yeah,
more
you'll see,
comfortable
yeah.
doing the thing. But it's really, you have to stay disciplined over a long period of time. Because at a year, I guarantee you, if I scratch for 30 minutes a day for a year, I'm going to be doing all kinds of things that I'm not capable of
Yeah.
doing now.
100%. And the biggest thing about DJing specifically, when we talk about like performance or technical DJing, it is very nuanced. There's very nuanced items, I would say, like, to what you're doing that take you from like one level to the next. So you could be doing something, and then like you get like this little tip about, okay, let me hold the record like this, or let me tap the fader with these fingers instead of those fingers. And then all of a sudden,
Yep, a whole new world
a
opens up
whole
to you.
new world opens up. And the only way you find out about that kind of stuff, like, I just figured out something too, like, that I've been doing for years. I've been doing my 2-click flares with the pointer finger and my middle finger, and I've been playing around with using my middle finger and my ring finger, and all of a sudden my 2-click flares got faster. And I was like, yo, like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? I just used some different fingers and things like that. Like, you would think like, oh man, that ain't gonna make no difference. It'll make all the difference in the world. On things like, you know, if you scratcher, like, one thing that, you know, I learned from Deception is like putting my hand, instead of putting my hand on the outside of the record, putting my hand closer to the inside of the record, closer to the spindle. When I'm doing things like flares and things like that, I'd watch him, be like, yo, like, why does he put his hand like that? And then I tried it, and I was like, oh snap, okay.
Think about that too.
Right.
Like, not only would something like this would you get better because you're practicing, but you're seeing what other people are doing, and they're helping you to get better just by you just watching what they're doing. You go,
Yeah.
oh shoot, I didn't even think to do those 2 fingers like Q. Let me start doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that there's something to it. I think it would work for me. And if like I said, if anybody listening to this is interested in doing that, hit me up on Instagram. We'll talk about it.
I say you just do it, man. Let's just put it out there, because, you know, it's gonna help everybody, and it'll enhance the game. Like I said, like, watching.
Yeah.
If you're a newer DJ, watch
And I'd be
the older
willing
ones,
to
yeah.
do it with one other person. So if you're willing to do it,
I'm down, man. You
It's already
already know.
started.
You already
then
know
it's,
I'm
Then
down.
it started.
Yeah.
Me and you were gonna do it.
Yeah.
And it'll be cool. I think if somebody joins the chat later, like, they'll be able to go back and look and go, whoa, this is where they started out 2 months ago, and
Yeah.
this is where they're at now, and
make
how
it
much
open.
cleaner it is.
I think that would be good for, like, you know, even the S4S, like, board that we have, that, you know, amongst those DJs, like, start posting in there, or like we create a different one. Like, yeah, it's gonna make everybody better, right?
I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't want to put it in S for S, because then the people that are not participating can see it. I want it to be only, like, if you're not
Participators.
participating, you don't get to see what's going on.
Well,
This
don't
is
you think
a-
that, like, people would see it, and the more people that they see participate, then they'll kind of jump in?
No.
You don't think so? I mean, there
well,
are. So
here-
I will
actually,
agree
I'm
with
sorry.
you. There's a lot of people on there that are just gonna just you're gonna say this and that and not participate in a positive way. I do agree with you there.
Yeah. I think in a certain way it's got to be invite only. Here's the other thing too. I think that there might be people that are reluctant to do it because everybody's going to see what they're doing. But if everybody's in the same thing, if everybody's allowing themselves to be vulnerable in the group of like, hey man, I'm struggling with this, but it's only the 5 or 10 people or whatever it might end up being at some point. Those are the only people that are seeing them struggle through. But if the other 200 people, actually I think there might be 400 people or whatever in that S4S group.
Yeah.
All those, you would be less likely if you're a noob to
But
post
I think
because
people got to get over that though. Like,
hold on.
they gotta
No,
get
you're
over
wrong.
that.
You're
You
wrong.
got to get over that.
You are a different type of person though. You have one sort of mindset. You have that battle mindset and whatever, but you got to make it a space where people that don't have the same mentality as you can still use the tool.
Yeah, but you can't be coddled though. I mean, because here's the thing: you got a DJ in front of like 200 people, 300 people on a Saturday night. Why can't you post a scratch video or a back-to-back video?
But maybe some of these people are not out there in front of 200 or 300 people.
Well, that's
Maybe
true.
they're just getting started.
That's the goal, right? Like you want to be out there in front of those people. Like I don't know, I don't necessarily agree with that. Like whether it's maybe it's my mindset of being an athlete for a long time, and that kind of translates into like the battle stuff. But at the same time, like this whole game of DJing is a performance sport, like right, like so.
But you practice. You don't just come in and start playing games. You practice. You got to be able to workshop things.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, 100%.
That are not in front of 400 other DJs that can talk their shit or whatever. Like,
well, they still gotta use the DJs that are gonna be a part of this. Still have to practice on their own time, but like you're gonna practice all week long, or whatever. And then you're gonna post like a 30-second clip or a minute-long clip of like something that you've been practicing. All right, cool. This is cool enough to post, or I like this to post. Boom, I'm posting that.
Hold on. Well, I think we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about a group chat. You're talking about posting. Are you talking about posting in the group chat?
To the group chat, right? Yeah, because you're not gonna post like if you're practicing for an hour, you're not gonna post the whole hour session.
You just grab a 30-second clip,
right? Exactly.
and put that in the
you're
group
gonna post it to the group chat. So you're still practicing on your own time alone, or with your homie or whatever. But the little 30-second or minute-long clip, like that's just what you're gonna post. You're gonna pop up the phone, you know what I'm saying? Prop it up on whatever, hit record. And record whatever it is you're going to record and post it to the chat. Because really what you're doing is just creating an accountability system. So, because if Flex posts his and I post mine and Stan posts his and Session posts his and so-and-so posts theirs and that, you're like, oh, damn, man, I got to post my shit. So.
Right. But I'm sticking to my guns that it needs to be in a private group chat that can be... Where people, say you're writing a book or something and you got some pages and you got a workshop and you're bringing it in and you're showing other writers that are all showing their work as well and going, hey man, this is what I wrote this week. What do you guys think? You got any tips for me? Or hey, something like that. But I don't show that to 200 people or 400 people and say, you know what I mean? And open myself up to scrutiny from people that are not doing the same thing that I'm doing. Like,
well, you always gonna get the scrutiny though. Like somebody always gonna have some shit to talk. So
I won't allow it unless it's fun. Unless it's fun in the group chat, like there won't be any like.
I mean, even when you feel like you're good, you know what I'm saying? Like even when you feel like you're like, even if you're the GOAT, somebody's still gonna have something to say. So I mean,
right, but that's for something else.
Yeah.
I want it to be a constructive thing where it's like it ain't even necessarily about getting critique from everybody, which if you ask for it you get it, but only if you ask for it. It's a accountability partner where it's like, hey man, we're teaming up. There's a couple of us that like we're trying to get better every day, and this is a tool that we're using to help keep us motivated and on track with practicing every day. That's what it is. And if that turns into they get to the point where they're like, hey man, I've got some things put together and I'm going to make reels, Okay, cool. Make those reels and do
Yeah.
your thing. But this is yeah.
How do we motivate? Like, I don't have issues with making, reels or putting together things, and like you don't, like Stan wouldn't have it or just have. How do we motivate like the newcomers to do that? Like the guys that are like, man, I want to get better at scratching.
Something like this.
And
Just like this.
But how do we motivate them just
to create content?
Like I know so many DJs, like, man, I'm gonna put together that routine, and they've been telling me this for years.
Oh, yeah.
Years that they're gonna put together a routine, and I'm like, yo, just put it together. Like, but I feel like there's so many people that feel like that they have to meet some certain standard.
Yeah, they're too hard on themselves.
Well,
And I am too, but I'm aware of the fact that there's like not too many other people doing it. So it's like, yeah, okay, if I compare myself to, like a Scratch Bastard or something, but the, 1,000, 2,000 people that follow me on social media, 100 of those follow Scratch Bastard and see him. But me doing my Scratch routine, that's the coolest Scratch routine they've ever seen.
oh yeah,
or,
like your coworkers.
Yeah,
like,
my coworkers, people I grew up with,
Right.
just regulars
Yeah.
that come see me at the gig or whatever. When I post something like that, they're like, "Oh my god, that was amazing,
mind blowing."
And in my mind, I'm like, "Man, you should see this person."
Yeah.
But like I said, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
Just execute it, and if you've been practicing every day for weeks, months, whatever it's been, you're going to be able to execute. And the other thing that I like about the posting the video each day is something happens when you hit that record button. And I think it's a very similar thing that happens when you were performing in front of people under pressure.
Oh yeah.
Just a little bit. But I can, if I don't press record, I can freestyle and just all these crazy things are happening.
Awesome.
I press record and all of a sudden I tense up a little bit.
Yeah.
And the more you get used to having that camera in your face, I think also that prepares you for being in front of a crowd or being scrutinized because you've got other DJs standing around you.
1,000%. When I was battling, I would record all my sets. All the DMC sets or Rebel 3 style or what I did, what's it called? What's the record shop that did the battle? Damn, I can't remember. But anyway, I would record it 100%. Yeah, because you're right. You hit record. It's just like when they tell you go. Yeah. So definitely, hit record on the phone. Whether it's just trying to do just a little scratch routine, or you're putting together a whole routine, or even if it's just like a mix, like you got this idea. And I think that in DJing we talk a lot about scratching, but like it's just a mix idea. It's just a blend. Like you came up with this idea to be like, man, I want to play such and such a cappella over such and such instrumental. Record it.
Yeah.
I've
got one for you guys. I got one.
What's that?
So I forgot what I came out of, but I went into Young Jock, It's Going Down.
Mm-hmm.
And lady walks up and she's like, "Do you have Booty Me Down?"
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And I'm thinking Booty Me Down's what, 75 BPMs?
Mm-hmm.
And It's Going Down by Young Jock is 85.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally, I don't like to transition down like that.
Yeah.
I'm more of a transition up kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Pause. I don't know if that needed a pause, but we'll throw one in there anyways.
Just to be safe.
Just to be safe. But anyways, and I'm looking at my pitch control, I'm like, I think, if I sync this and I just, I can move through, it's got an 8-bar intro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going down, it's going up, going down. And then booty meets down. Booty meet down.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
yeah, stuff like that.
if I had not taken that chance And I kind of realized what was going to happen because I knew both records. Had I not taken that chance, but that's something that I essentially, I mean,
Yeah, that's in
I
your
won't.
toolbox now.
But yeah, it's my toolbox. I could have made a little video, gotten a clip of that, and it's like, okay, cool. That was it. It's the simplest wordplay, but it worked.
Yeah.
And actually, the crowd went nuts. And because it was a record that they were really excited about, that transition down still, like, there was energy when that record
Yeah,
popped.
yeah.
And you got to be careful when you transition down. You can't transition down to a lower energy
Yeah,
record,
yeah. Unless you're trying to
that'll
change the energy.
that's
in the
really
room.
gonna kill
Yeah.
your dance floor.
But like to talk about that, like the homie Joe Lobel, all he does is post videos on his Instagram with wordplay
Yeah,
routines.
yeah, he's got tons of them. I like
Yeah.
that guy.
So
He's,
like it doesn't always have to be scratching or be juggling. It could just be something like that, which isn't necessarily like not as dope as scratching. Like that's still dope. Like that's a part. That's a tool for DJing that can set you apart from somebody that's just playing music. Oh, you came up with this little idea because then that idea sparks. Okay, what else can I do this with?
his whole set is premeditated.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about like for people practicing making videos to post to their Instagram or post to this group chat or whatever. You know what I mean? Like coming up with little ideas
Yeah,
that you're like, oh man, what would happen if I just mixed these two songs together?
Yep.
And came out of this song at that point and into this song at that point, even if it's not using sync to like do what you did. It could just be like the two songs, same BPM. Like video that, you know what I'm saying? Like
it's something. It's something, and you could put some graphics up and an effect and whatever, and you've got a 30-second, 45-second
yeah, you got a real
clip that's going to be,
even if you don't take it that far. Like, so here's the thing, like the first one could just be as basic as it can be, right? And then as you do them more, you're gonna get more ideas.
Yeah.
You're gonna get more creative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
we talked about this before, but that's you have to be putting in the work. You have to be sitting in front of your typewriter for the words to come to you.
yeah.
For you to get the pages. You have to be in front of the turntables, DJing, practicing for those ideas to manifest or materialize. So, yeah, that's
there's
it.
so many things you can do now. Like, you and I come from the age of vinyl where there was there was a handful of really dope things you could do. Now, there's so many.
Yeah, it's limitless.
They say like
We think it's limitless. We thought it was limitless a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it's
Now
even
it's
more
even crazier.
Yeah, it's
right?
like what
with the
have
tech-
we not done? What have we not? What stone is left unturned? Because it feels like everything that we ever wish for as DJs, video, stems, like you looping the pads, the drum pads, the
and you got specialists
pitch
out
shift,
there.
key shift, all of it's like holy crap! Like we have so much.
I think find
at
the
our
DJ
fingertips.
that's doing something dope that you like. Like if you like tone play, watch Four Color Zach videos. If you like finger drumming, watch 69 beat videos. If you want to get into scratching, there's a lot of scratch DJs out there. Or beat juggling, you know what I mean? There's a lot of beat juggle DJs out there, like or just really good mixing.
Right.
There's a lot of that, and find somebody and watch their style, kind of emulate it a little bit, and pick up on what they're doing, and try to create something yourself out of what they're doing. But there's a lot. There's a lot, and you don't need turntables. like you don't need turntables anymore. You don't have to go out and buy Technics 1200s just to be like, oh man, I got Techniques now. I can really do something. Like, nah, you can do something dope with the cheapest controller.
I had another DJ I was talking to this week that was actually it was Chulo, was talking about getting a Rev 7.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, dude, we're all going to the dark side.
What's he using now? I thought he already had one.
No, he uses tables, but Charlie Chan plays with him out on Thursdays.
Yeah,
at
takes his
Big
reps out
Daddy's
there.
Edwards. Yeah, takes out there. So he's getting used to it, and he's like, man, I think I can make this work because I'm not doing so much scratching. You know,
All you gotta do is
kinda
practice on it though. Like that's it. That's it, man. Like,
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. That's
spend some
another thing
time.
that I'm gonna be working on is trying to spend as much time practicing on turntables. That much time on the Rev 7 as well. That way I'm staying sharp on
I
both.
gotta dig up some videos of me on my little VCI 380 Vestex controller cutting.
So we can see how whack you are.
Oh man, jam on that, man.
I'm kidding.
Boogie B came in. I think it was Boogie B came in. Lloyd and Harry's like, "What you gonna do with that?" I was like, "Hold on, real quick,
Dude.
homie."
When you pulled that thing out of your backpack, I was like,
What's that?
what is this?
He's like, "Sit down, watch this."
But I was kind of, then, then I go and I'm pulling crates and making 3 trips. And you're laughing at me. I'm like, this dude.
Shout out to High Noon. Posted a video. He had his ride packed up. He's doing vinyl day somewhere, and he had his ride like packed from the floor to the roof of just stuff. I was looking at that picture like, man, I don't miss that, bro.
Right.
I don't miss that.
Hey, I know we said we're gonna try and keep it like an hour, so we're right there. We're right at an hour.
For sure.
You got anything coming up this weekend?
This weekend's busy, man. See 360 downtown Friday. Got the Armory Saturday. I'm actually doing some work at the NASCAR Cup Series this weekend too, over at the racetrack. Doing some DJing for that.
So you got 3 gigs or 4?
Let's see. So I'm doing the NASCAR thing Saturday and Sunday morning, midday-ish. Friday night, 360 downtown. Saturday night, the Armory. And then Sunday, I had a little birthday party. It's a graduation party deal. So it's a busy weekend.
Cool.
Yeah.
Go see DJ Q. I'm at Tin Roof Sunday as usual, and I actually kind of doing something a little different. I'm opening for Dex at Tin Roof on Friday.
Oh, yeah? You're playing Friday?
I don't know if he's got a blues game or what he's doing, but
nice.
Yeah, but it's early.
Oh. What time you done?
The booking guy called me and was like, "Hey, I got an early one for you." I think I'm done. I think it's 10 to 11.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
I doubt that Dex will get there right at 11. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of planning on staying a little bit after that. But
hang out a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's good etiquette to stick around for the other DJ, even if it's 30 minutes or half an hour. Like it's weird when people just like.
I know we got to roll, man, but let me tell you something. I always watch other DJs, like especially DJs that play a lot, because you always learn something from them, man. Like whether it's, new records, new styles, new anything, right? Like shout out to DJ Criggles, like about a month or so ago, man. He did like, I call it like pop rock. Like he ran through a set of that. And I was like, yo, I don't like really ever play these records. And people were responding to them like crazy. And I'm like, yo, I need to figure out what these records are and start playing them, because these kids were rocking out to these records and it was just not anything that I was hip to. And I was like, yo, like he knew all them records.
Yeah.
So, if I hadn't been there just kicking it, not really kicking it, just hanging out. I don't really kick it like that, but, I'm there. But, yeah, man. Hang out, watch other DJs, and see what they do. Yeah. Learn something.
I agree. I love it. I love getting to the gig early because, Deception's always... I mean, watching Deception by himself is great, but he's always bringing in guest DJs, and so you get to see kind of what everybody's up to, who's who, and who can do what, and who can't do what. So, yeah. Anyways, check us out this weekend.
Yeah.
Follow us on the socials, and hit me up if you want to, or hit us up if you want to get involved in this daily scratch challenge. Probably talk again about it next week and see how it's come together and get you guys
let's go.
Some more information on that. So that's it. All right.
Peace.
Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.